Thanks for joining me today, guys. Yes, it's Charga, and thanks for joining today, guys. Let's see. Let me know how long you've been playing the oud for. Today we're going to do some tremolo training, and I'll talk a little bit about what I've got going on these days. We have a promo on the Oud Ornaments Masterclass. If you're interested in that, please check that out at the link here. I'll put that in the chat. And today I'm playing an oud made by Ethnic Musical, and this oud, you can find it also taking orders on this one at this link here. This is the Arabic Pro Arabic series, and it's got a beautiful sound. I really like how it sounds. As you mentioned, Carol, thanks for joining. It has a big round sound. It really does. It's very responsive. I also like that it's an unfinished soundboard. I really like unfinished soundboards. They're very nice, and they feel good. The ebony neck is quite luxurious too. It's very smooth. One of the best ebony necks that I've actually seen on ouds, to be honest. It's nice and well finished and well sanded. There's not a lot of grooves in the wood either, which is very nice. Also the pegs turn fantastic too. So I really like this oud. It's very nice. So today I want to do some tremolo training with you guys. Everybody wants to get a good tremolo, and it takes some time and development. Like with everything on the oud, it takes time. But a few tips that I might suggest if you're just getting started with trying tremolo, training your tremolo technique. Okay, let's see here. I just want to get a good camera angle. Make sure this is looking fine. You can see my right hand. Regardless of which way you hold the pick, the mezrab risha, you want to get the movement happening with the muscles in your forearm and the wrist. So start out doing this. Let's just live here for a little bit. Up, down, or down, up. Now we always start a tremolo. We always start everything with a downstroke. So think down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Make sure your hand is waving like it is, like mine is. And your elbow's not moving at all. We're not doing this. We're doing this. Make sure your thumb is nice and flat or sloped. That way you can get the right pressure on the top of the risha, and make sure your finger is right underneath your thumb. You've got about 1 centimeter or half an inch of the plectrum coming out of your thumb. The plectrum is like the extension of your thumbnail. Imagine that. And just live here for a bit. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Rotating the forearm muscles. The elbow is stationary, stays there. And go slow. Just do this for a bit before you actually touch the oud strings, because your body has to feel this form, and once it comes in contact with something, it's going to get disturbed. So you gotta start out this way. Just wave the hand. Another way that I trained tremolo was to play on the side of my leg like this when I was sitting at a desk studying or working. Just at the side of your leg, just go like this. Do the same movements. No elbow, just forearm, wrist. And get faster as you keep doing that, as you keep getting better at that. The risha can be held loosely or tighter. I recommend something balanced, not tight or not loose. Once you get better at tremolo, then you can experiment with the sound of what it sounds like when you loosen up your grip or tighten your grip. Let's go get to the basics. So you want to start thinking about 16th notes. 4 strokes, down, up, per beat, per count that you create, okay? So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is all you gotta do at the very beginning. That's the very beginning of tremolo. Even though we play it much faster than that, you have to start at 16th notes because you want to create a groove with the counting that you create inside yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4, so that you can put even strokes in between those counting. That's the most important thing. Everyone thinks that fast tremolo is important. It's actually not true. A slow, steady, but even tremolo is just as beautiful as a blistering fast tremolo. So a relaxed tremolo could sound like this. But because my strokes are very even, and that's why it sounds good. Once you get good at doing that, you can start increasing the speed at which you're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's one training for tremolo, just building speed and building evenness between your up and down strokes. One thing that you can do is just use a metronome to keep track of how fast you're going, or you don't have to use a metronome if you don't want to, that's fine. The next thing that you will need to do when you practice tremolo is practice starting and stopping. This is the most important method to get a good tremolo, because often people can get into the tremolo, and the tremolo starts getting even just a little bit after you start. So it starts out kind of jerky and unstable, and then it smooths out. So you want to have a consistent tremolo throughout your, however short of duration you're playing for that tremolo. So you have to practice starting and stopping. So what I recommend is same count. You take 1, 2, 1, 2, and then you start that tremolo on 1, and then you end it on 2. So you play 5 strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So get good at starting and stopping your tremolo. Now tremolo doesn't always stop with a downstroke. I'm doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Down, up, down, up, down. This happens when we have another note that we need to accent, then we accent that note with a downstroke. But tremolo usually ends with an upstroke. But don't worry about that for now. Let's see here. So starting and stopping. Let's do that for a little bit. Nice and slow. 1, 2, 1, 2. Just hang out here for a little. Let's speed up. 1, 2, 1, 2. Now let's add a few extra strokes. Da 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 dum. So we're adding another 2 strokes. So we're at a total of 7 strokes. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't have to do this yet. Let's just keep it at 4 actually. But if you want, you can always try increasing the amount of strokes that you have in each count. This is challenging because you're going from 4 strokes in one beat to 6 strokes in one beat. And then you want to increase that to 8 strokes in one beat. But the 6 is a bit different because it becomes a sextuplet, and it's a staggered stroke amount within one even beat, so it's kind of hard to do. I might recommend, depending on how you do, just increase your speed of your tremolo first by doing 16th notes and then speeding up the tempo, and then just jumping up to 8 strokes per count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. one E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1E and a 2E and a. So I'm counting 1E and a 2E and a, and then my hand is coming down on the one count that I'm talking about. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So 8 strokes per count. And then try to speed that up. Try to get your counting, your tempo that you've created, to go faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That way you can, it's all about increasing your speed. That's really all it is. And then figuring how many strokes to put into one count. Now, when you're gaining speed, you might find that as you move along in your tremolo practicing, make sure you take breaks. Okay, stretch out that arm, let it rest, come back, reorient, take a breather. Make sure you breathe. Breathing is very important too. Don't create tension in your body. And so when you're practicing tremolo, the next kind of step or the next exercise that I often show people is to start slow and build up speed and then slow down. Build up speed and slow down. One sec, I'm just going to change something here with my camera. My camera's always focusing, autofocus. Let's see if I can change this. Okay, now it won't autofocus anymore. Okay, so start tremolo very slow. Find your comfort zone. By comfort zone, I mean find where you're playing, where you're stroking that that it's very even, very steady, and the strings are not fighting you back. So it doesn't, your pick doesn't get stuck on the strings. So something like this. You might be here, you might be here. Find your comfort zone. Work your way up to the comfort zone. Let's say your comfort zone is about here. Now that you're here, quickly increase the speed. And then when it gets jittery, when you start to get stuck, then slow down. Control yourself and slowly decrease the speed. Like so. And then you slowly increase the speed. Slow down. And then quickly speed up. Go as fast as you can. And then slow down. Keep consistent motion as you're doing that. Sometimes when people are self-taught or are still getting the basics and getting comfortable with it, sometimes their tremolo, either they can do slow strokes or really fast strokes, but nothing in between. So they're either like blisteringly fast and they're not really doing the proper form, or they can just do the normal basic slow strokes. But so doing this exercise, slowly speeding up and slowly slowing down, will help you gain control and allow you to do everything in between, all the tempos that you need to do. And it will help you get control of your right hand. That's the most important thing. Control. Being able to control this, not being, not like going from first gear to like fifth gear all of a sudden. Getting everything in between. So that's how I recommend practicing tremolo. Start on the second string. That way, it's good practice because we've got a string here and a string here. And if you can control your stroke pattern that it doesn't hit the other strings, that's great, like a great exercise. If you need to also practice tremolo on different strings, because all the other strings feel different. I might recommend a softer risha in the beginning to practice tremolo, just because the harder, more stiff cow horn ones, they're a bit harder to get used to the tremolo, a bit different way that you loosen up the wrist a little, depending on the shape of the cow horn, how thick it is, and all this kind of thing. So you may want to just try with a soft risha first and see how that goes, and then work your way up. Once you get really good at it, then move on to another risha that sounds better than plastic. All right, that's about it for tremolo training. I don't have a lot of time today. I got a full day of lessons, private lessons happening today, so I don't have a lot of time. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd love to hear some questions about oud playing, whether it's tremolo or about the Oud Ornaments Masterclass that I have. Yeah, let me know. Now is the time to ask. Let's see here. Thanks for joining, Albert. Dan, good to see you. Bar, good to see you too. Awesome to see you guys. Alright, Bar, good question. Do you also recommend to use the actual fingers or just wrist? Hey Saeed, good to see you too. Now that's a really good question. We do use the fingers a little bit. So let me explain what I mean by that. So now for the basic tremolo, you don't really need the fingers, but there is a lot of subtlety happening in the fingers. And what happens mostly is that we sometimes, and this is not a tremolo thing though, but we do use the fingers a little bit in creating an accent, or when we want to dig in deeper, or really do like a forte accent, a strong accent. You know, what I do is, like, my thumb comes up a little bit and comes down as I'm doing the stroke. Very subtle kind of movement like this. And what that does is it gives a little bit of more pressure and strength and support on the risha, and then I get a harder attack. But you need to support the risha with the index finger below as well in order to do this. So those people who kind of play like this, you won't be able to get a good clean attack if your finger is way over here. So everything has to be around the tip of the risha there. It's just a subtle little thing. But yeah, we don't use, for tremolo, we generally don't use the fingers. So like there's nothing, you can do a very small tremolo like that, but still you're using the same muscles that are coming from the forearm and the wrist. But yeah, good question. All right, if there are no more questions, that will be it for me today. So thanks so much for joining me today, and yeah, it's great to see you guys here. Some of my good students, longtime students. All right, thanks so much. I'll leave you with some music if there's some last minute questions that come to mind, and we will see you next time. see if there are any more questions. If not, I'm out of here. All right. I have this exact oud. Is that normal that the peg's getting very hard to move, to tune? Yeah, it is. It is normal for them to get harder to tune when it gets humid, especially right now in summertime. In the eastern United States, it gets very humid there. So watch the humidity. You may need to loosen the pegs a little bit. That's always something that we always have to pay attention to. The pegs do swell, and in the dry season they contract, and your pegs sometimes get loose. So these are normal things. Yeah, it's very rare that oud pegs do not contract and swell. I've only had one oud which was made in Iran that the pegs were just amazing. I'd never had an oud pegs like that. It wasn't a very expensive oud either, but just the care that they took to create the pegs is something that I don't see in any other ouds from any other countries. They were just so smooth, and there was some kind of nice finish on the peg itself that I never added anything to it, no chalk, no peg polish or anything. It just was fit perfectly, and they fit really smoothly too. Yeah, so nice pegs, but it's rare to find that. So yeah. All right, good to see you guys. Thanks so much for joining, everyone, and hope to see you sometime in private lessons, wherever you might be, or in the oud learning programs. Yeah, one more reminder for those of you who don't know already, we've got a promo happening, some bonuses happening for the Oud Ornaments Masterclass. This month I talked all about oud ornaments, and hope you enjoyed those videos. If you haven't seen those videos, check them out on the channel, but you can get details about what I have going on for this special enrollment. We've got a free half-an-hour oud lesson for the first 5 enrollees in the Oud Ornaments Masterclass, and also the Oud for Guitarists is moving to a new platform. So this course is actually on the new platform. I haven't gotten all the courses there yet, but this course is on the new platform, and it's looking great, and it hopefully will be an improvement from what we currently have. So yeah, thanks for checking that out, and we'll see you next time at the next YouTube video or next YouTube live. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.